There are still 25 vacant positions at the Durham 911 call center.
So that, combined with a surge in calls throughout the summer, has forced some to wait minutes before their calls are answered.
Tonight, our Crystal Price speaks one-on-one with the city councilor who called to report a shooting, and it took them 4 minutes to answer.
We heard the gunshots, and then we came outside.
Durham City Councilor Deidreana Freeman was at her East Durham home when a 17-year-old boy was shot outside of this convenience store on East Main last month. She called 911, but couldn't get through the first time.
I know that the call hung up on me, and I called right back.
The second time, she says it rang for 4 minutes.
It was a long time before anyone picked up.
Her neighbor, Costa Gramatis, also tried calling 911, but he couldn't get through either.
The young man, as a child, was not breathing. We knew we needed a lot of help, and we couldn't get it.
Freeman says finally someone answered. They said an ambulance was already on the way.
Yo, you know that shit is crazy, man, when you reach out to 911, that's emergency, yo, and they pick up the phone and hang up that motherfucker. Then when you call back, you just sitting on the other end, just the phone just ringing for 4 minutes. Yo, that shit is crazy, yo. If y'all sit back and think about that. I got 0 viewers right now, but whoever stumble upon this, you get what I'm saying? Y'all listen at that shit, yo. You call 911, you expect for them to pick up on the first damn ring. You get what I'm saying? That shit crazy, man.
The teenager was taken to the hospital, but he didn't make it. Freeman says she couldn't believe it took that long for someone to answer.
And this is in Durham, North Carolina, so that's home of Duke and NC Central. You get what I'm saying? So y'all know Durham is considered gangland. You get what I'm saying? It used to be mostly Bloods, but now, you know, as you know, the years went on and you know things involved and shit. You also have the Crips, you also have the Folk Nation, Vice Lords, various other street gangs, organizations, or however you want to call them. So this is Durham, North Carolina.
Felt like there wasn't anything I could do, even as a city council member. I don't have a bat phone I can pick up and just put up a bat signal to get help out here.
The number of vacancies here at the Durham 911 call center is now at 28, and city officials say they're getting more 911 calls than ever before.
In the month of July, Durham 911 answered 78% of calls in 15 seconds or less, but they're falling behind the national standard, which is to answer 90% of calls in that time. Emergency Communications Director Randy Beeman says they have 11 part-time workers they brought on to cover some of the shifts. They're also adding more hiring incentives, doubling overtime pay, and also doubling the size of their academies. Freeman is hoping that these changes will help them fill more positions.
If all we have is 911, we've got to make sure that we have resources in place.
In Durham, Crystal Price, CBS 17 News.
And the city of Durham is investigating Councilor Freeman's 911 call to see exactly what went wrong. The city's also looking at possibly routing some calls to jurisdictions until they're better staffed, but no decision has yet been made.
Damn, that shit crazy, y'all.
Russ, thank you. The man shot by an officer at the Person County Courthouse has passed away. That shooting happened just before noon yesterday.
Person County is in, of course, it's North Carolina because, you know, I'm sharing North Carolina news, but Person County, those of you all that know Roxborough, that's Person County.
The State Bureau of Investigation says that Christopher Vaughn started attacking people during his trial and that he tried to take a bailiff's weapon. Well, investigators say that's when an officer from the Roxborough Police Department shot Vaughn. Vaughn died at the hospital, and according to the News and Observer, he was facing charges of false imprisonment after being accused of trying to coerce a female from a Walmart. The Roxborough officer has a broken hand, and the bailiff has a cut on his head and scratches on his neck.
That's all? Damn. Motherfucker try to goddamn fight motherfuckers doing this trial and shit.
Require all staff and student athletes be vaccinated as well. So the school board voted last night to approve this vaccine mandate. Employees and student athletes will have 30 days to get the first shot, 60 days to complete their vaccination if they get a 2-dose vaccination. So if...
Yo, now they making athletes here get vaccinated. So this is the thing though. What if you refuse? Then what? You might be the star player for the team. You get what I'm saying? What? You are not going to let me play now? You get what I'm saying? This shit is getting crazy, yo. This is Warren County. That's the county I reside in. Me and Let's Talk About It and Sex Money Murder P that you all know of. This is the county we reside in, Warren County.
Staff members do not get the vaccine, they will have to get tested once a week. If student athletes don't get the vaccine, they'll have to get tested twice a week. Russ.
Okay, all right. That's understandable right there, though. Hold on, I got more for you all.
Students at UNC protested in front of the administration building today, calling on university leaders to institute a school-wide vaccine mandate. CBS 17's Imani Payne is joining us now live from Chapel Hill. Imani, why do they want that?
I had to put that on pause for a second. Briefly, I'm going to say this. Like I keep saying before, I don't know where the hell some of y'all be at. You get what I'm saying? With y'all hiatuses and shit like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, I've been pumping YouTube videos and content and shit like that. So I don't know where the fuck y'all been at, the ones that, you know, brought a hiatus my way. You get what I'm saying? Like, I was never with the antics and the bullshit. So whatever made you all you know, go another way from me, you can do that shit again now. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm still the same Sir Early. You get what I'm saying? But I'm dropping informative content now. My content ain't just here, there, everywhere here. You get what I'm saying? I go into details with my shit. I do deep research on my stuff. So I can care less for the motherfuckers that was here before than you all of a sudden pop back in the picture. You can goddamn kick rocks again. You get what I'm saying? Matter of fact, you can walk the plank. Ain't no more room on this ship for you.
That mandate to be put in place.
Well, the demand comes as the university battles hundreds of COVID cases. Students want to see this mandate implemented within the next 10 days to help slow the spread on campus.
What do we want? Vaccine!
You want that fake fabricated shit like that? You continue to go over there and gibber and jab with them motherfuckers. I'm real over here. You want to get the real me. You're going to get the bluntness. No fabrications or nothing. I'm going to let motherfuckers know how I feel. Check all my videos. That shit'll let you know how real I am. People keep talking about real this and real that. I'm letting you know now. I don't care too much for the subs I have. 180 subs. And I'm only getting 5 or 6 views and shit like that. Doing this for the people that really rocks with me, fuck with me, and share my content. I can care less. You pop back in the goddamn picture thinking shit, all peaches and cream and shit. You can go on back over there.
Dozens of UNC students marching side by side,
If we don't get it, shut it down!
demanding a school-wide vaccine mandate to fight COVID-19.
What do we want?
So when I said that, you skedaddled. I know how to get rid of motherfuckers. You get what I'm saying? You ain't want it over here anyway. If you ain't been rocking with me like that anyway.
It's not fair to students who are actually getting vaccinated, who are doing what is right and what is needed to be done in order to stop the spread of COVID.
The demand comes as the university battles more than 600 COVID cases reported since August 1st.
And a vaccine mandate could promote honesty on campus as well as safety. And if you want to go to football games and continue this fun on-campus, in-person learning, this is what we have to do.
We don't get it, shut it down!
Students say the current COVID community standards are not working, so it's time to take matters into their own hands.
It is past time for UNC to implement a vaccine mandate.
The students taking their demands and this petition straight to the chancellor's front door. But while the door was open just a few minutes beforehand, when the students tried to enter, they couldn't get in, leaving the petition and demands on the front steps. Now, according to the school's dashboard, around 90% of students and staff are vaccinated. We asked the school if they would consider implementing a vaccine mandate. The chancellor says he is in favor of a mandate, but that he does not have the ability to authorize one at this point. For now, we're live at Chapel Hill. Imani Payne, CBS 17 News.
Record low flu cases last year, demand for flu shots actually went up. Doctors and manufacturers are hoping that that is the case again this year.
But with COVID-19 boosters set to be given out in the fall, should people wait before getting a different shot? CBS 17's Lillian Donahue digging deeper live for us tonight. Lillian.
Well, good evening, guys. The general guidance before now was if you get your COVID-19 shot, you have to wait 14 days or 2 weeks before getting any other vaccine or shot. But now the Centers for Disease Control say that that is no longer necessary. Well, today I spoke with flu shot makers as well as a local
Center for Disease Control, CDC. Y'all listen at that title. Just emphasis on control. That's what I'm basically getting at.
doctor for their recommendations and when you get that flu shot and the COVID booster this fall.
We were wearing masks, we were social distancing, and so flu never really had a chance to take hold and propagate.
Doctors agree that COVID precautions last year helped lead to record low flu numbers, and flu shots themselves became a hot commodity.
In fact, looking at last year's demand, it was 20% higher than the year before. And we're actually forecasted to be right around the same demand value now.
The company Securus, based in Holly Springs, is pumping out 60 million flu vaccines this year.
Right now, the more people we can immunize against flu, the more folks that can stay out of the healthcare system, which allows precious resources to be dedicated to COVID patients who so desperately need that right now.
Health officials are also urging people to get their COVID-19 booster 8 months after receiving initial doses. A UNC Health doctor says for most, that will mean a natural gap between getting the flu shot now and a COVID booster later this fall, once it's approved for the general population.
Get your flu shot whenever you can get one. You can get it in the pharmacy, probably get it in your doctor's office pretty soon. And then you can layer your booster on top of that at any time.
But if you want to get both at the same time, the CDC say there's no need to wait.
Damn, he's saying get the flu shot and layer the goddamn booster shot over there. Damn, we're gonna be pumped up with some goddamn vaccines.
I think we have enough experience in
It's not funny, but you know, that's how I do and shit. I laugh a little bit.
and confidence that if need be, we could, just like we do other vaccinations, one in one arm and one in the other arm.
Now, while U.S. health officials expect COVID-19 boosters to be more widely available this fall, right now they're only recommended for immunocompromised people. Reporting live in Raleigh, Lillian Donahue, CBS 17 News.
Vaccinations and curb the surging Delta variant. Good evening, I'm Angela Taylor.
And I'm RaeCarruth. Glad you could join us. Today, President Biden laid out his 6-step plan to slow the spread. CBS 17's Nick Sturdivant live in downtown Raleigh for us tonight. And Nick, one part of that plan is to require companies who have more than 100 employees to make sure that their workers are vaccinated or tested weekly. How's that going over?
Well, Rod, a few companies that we reached out to here in our area chose not to comment. However, earlier today, business leaders met here in downtown Raleigh to talk about the state of the economy and the state of downtown Raleigh. Downtown Raleigh Alliance says that vaccinations are actually helping with the recovery process. President Joe Biden rolling out his plan Thursday.
We must increase vaccinations among the unvaccinated with new vaccination requirements.
As the fight against COVID-19 continues.
The time for waiting is over.
It's a 6-step approach focusing on public health, schools, and the economy. The White House announcing the Labor Department is also developing a rule that businesses with more than 100 employees require vaccinations or weekly testing.
And what we're really trying to do is provide information and updates on downtown's economy.
As President Biden laid out his plans, business leaders gathered in downtown Raleigh for Downtown Raleigh Alliance's State of Downtown. Bill King is the president and CEO of DRA. While he did not comment specifically on Biden's mandate, he says last year,
Work from home and visitation really hit downtown pretty hard, right? And so, it was tough for a while there in 2020. We've started to see some signs really coming back since the spring once vaccinations started rising. So our food and beverage sales have taken off quite a bit since the spring.
King says in some parts of downtown, they are already back to pre-pandemic sales. Meanwhile, the Biden administration is hoping this latest move can help make the pandemic a thing of the past.
At 2 high schools, Democrats are trying to force votes on gun-related legislation, but even they doubt that plan will even work.
As our Capitol reporter Michael Hyland reports, this is happening as Republicans push to make buying guns easier here in North Carolina.
When a student was shot and killed in Winston-Salem, it was the second shooting at a school in North Carolina just last week.
That's one more week that we're refusing to do anything.
Democratic Representative Julie Von Hafen said guns were confiscated at her son's high school in Raleigh as well. She and other Democrats are calling for votes on a couple of bills that have gone nowhere in recent years. One would establish a red flag law, meaning a judge could temporarily take someone's guns if they're deemed a threat to themselves or others. Another would require a permit for long guns, defined as shotguns or rifles that aren't antique firearms.
We know that these 2 bills in particular may not have solved the issues that happen. But the fact is that we're not having any conversations in this building about what to do to prevent those incidences from happening.
Next week, they'll file discharge petitions where if a majority of House members sign on, votes would have to be held on those bills. They acknowledge that's never been successful. Paul Vallone is president of Grassroots North Carolina, which advocates for Second Amendment rights.
Gun control movements are trying to exploit tragedy by pushing for gun control that has absolutely nothing to do with the crimes that have occurred.
His group supported a recent bill to eliminate the state's pistol purchase permit law after sheriffs said it was duplicative due to improvements in the national background check system. Democratic Governor Roy Cooper vetoed it, saying permitting laws save lives.
I'm a proud gun owner. I get so worked up on this because it's just not a hard process.
The best way to reduce violence is to make sure that people have the opportunity to protect themselves.
The House is not in session right now, so the first chance Democrats are going to have to file these discharge petitions will be next Wednesday. Even though that hasn't been successful before, they say it's the only way they know to push the conversation.
The way that you buy alcohol in North Carolina. Glad you could join us tonight. I'm RaeCarruth.
I'm Angela Taylor. Today, the Alcoholic Beverage Commission changed the rules to allow you to order and pay for alcohol online. CBS 17's Lillian Donahue digging deeper tonight. Lillian, this isn't the only change the ABC is making.
Well, that's right. Aside from being able to order and pay for alcohol and then pick it up at your local ABC store, there's many other ways that state leaders are trying to modernize alcohol laws in the state. Many of those will actually help restaurants that are hurting now during the pandemic.
Everything tastes good? Awesome, man.
The owner of Cantina 18 says the way restaurants buy and sell alcohol has largely stayed the same for decades.
Very little change has happened since they were first enacted in the 70s. You can't find any business that hasn't done some changes in the last 50 years.
Wednesday, the North Carolina House and Senate passed sweeping legislation that updates many alcohol regulations for ABC stores, distilleries, and restaurants.
So we need to modernize the system while also protecting the integrity of how we manage and control alcohol in our state.
For restaurants, they can now keep serving alcohol in outside spaces that they expanded into during the pandemic, like sidewalks or parking lots.
It also helps us on busy nights when people just want to be outside, that we can add more seating.
The bill also allows cities to create social districts outside designated areas where people can buy, carry, and drink alcohol.
That, in essence, puts bars and restaurants on a level playing field with beer carts and other providers that are often a part of special events like festivals.
Smith says for him, the biggest change is that businesses can now order liquor and get it delivered, like beer and wine. Before, restaurant staff would have to go to multiple warehouses to pick up their liquor orders.
Sending a manager to the warehouse to pick up 15 cases of liquor to put in the back of his or her car and drive across town, it's ridiculous.
Facts.
And that's, of course, just a few of many more changes that are being made, including loosening restrictions for distilleries across the state.
Man, change the goddamn marijuana bill.
Includes another big change for alcohol sales at college sporting events.
Well, that's right. If you go to a state arena or stadium, right now you can only buy one drink and bring it back to your seats. Well, this new bill that just passed the House and Senate will allow you to buy two at a time. Reporting live in Raleigh, Lillian Donahue, CBS 17 News.
Bills not getting paid and livelihoods at stake.
State lawmakers are pushing for changes to a program that's meant to help people pay the rent during the pandemic, saying that landlords are actually struggling to pay their own bills. Capitol reporter Michael Highland is live for us tonight in Raleigh. And Michael, this is happening as the moratorium on evictions has ended.
Right, the HOPE program was created to make sure that the rent and other bills still get paid. Some landlords, though, are frustrated with how it's working, but the people running the program say this proposal to change it could actually slow things down. Keep people home and keep the lights on. Those are some of the main goals of the HOPE program, which lets tenants apply for money to make sure their landlord still gets paid when they can't afford the rent.
It's been a frustrating situation all the way around.
Mike Summy is a landlord who owns hundreds of properties, and some tenants leave town owing thousands of dollars.
We're just in the dark. We don't know whether they apply. We don't know what they're doing.
He says he's more concerned for smaller landlords who can't afford that hit. The way the program works, tenants have to complete the application process. Landlords can't do that.
28 having voted in the affirmative.
The Republicans in the state Senate pushed for a bill that passed Wednesday to allow landlords to do that too.
Our government on several levels has disregarded the rights of property owners and housing providers.
Laura Hogshead oversees the state agency administering the program. She says federal rules won't allow this change, and it could slow things down.
Then we will have to build a new computer system, we will have to build new checks and balances, and it will just stall our progress, and it will slow the payments to landlords.
She says her office has awarded about 77% of the money available so far, but more money will be available later.
On the end around. Carruth gets away for the first down marker. What a play by the rookie RaeCarruth.
Level 1, Bedrini Police Fire at it. I'm 8 months pregnant.
Carolina Panther RaeCarruth conspired to kill his pregnant girlfriend, Sharika Adams.
The wonderful first date turned into a horrific plot for murder. All of us go through our death of a loved one sometimes. And when we focus on what we've lost, we don't see what we have left. So today, my focus is on what I have left. When I was thinking of a name for Sharika, I had thought of several different things. I wanted it to be unique because I knew she would just be a very unique, really vibrant type of person. She was almost about to be named after the vacuum cleaner Eureka, because I thought, oh, that's got a nice little sound to it. And I thought, no, I don't want her to be associated with dirt and cleaning and stuff. So I said, since I love Cher so much, I want her to be tall and lean and long, flowing black hair. I said, I'm going to name her Cher. But Cher just wasn't enough. So I said, well, I put the two together. So it was Sharika.
She had the looks that could rival Halle Berry, Beyonce,
all the beautiful women out there, Sharika was absolutely a knockout. She's really, really, really pretty, but she wasn't aware of how pretty she was. Not just her outer beauty, Sharika had the prettiest inside that I'd ever met. I wanted her to have someone that treated her like the beautiful queen that she was. But many times you cannot blame the heart for where the heart goes.
Sharika and her girlfriend had gone to a pool party, and there she met RaeCarruth. And she was pretty smitten with RaeCarruth when she met him. And I think they must have had pretty good conversation and wanted to continue the conversation a little more privately. For whatever reason, she decided she wanted to go by her dad's house with him. So I don't know if that was some kind of intuition that she had, that this might be a person that's forever in my life or what, but she felt comfortable enough taking him to meet her dad.
What I picked up on him was that, of course, I could tell he was a playboy, a player. And I thought he was a nice looking guy, but I didn't think he was nice looking on the inside.
His focus was pretty much on sports and football and women back in the day.
Berline throws, that is caught into the end zone, touchdown, RaeCarruth.
At that point, you're looking at him like a Steve Smith was when he was young, and he came up on the scene, and you saw him develop through training camp, and you saw the talent. And you're like, oh, this guy gonna be good. When you see certain guys, you're like, okay, maybe in 5 years you might be reading about him, but not in a good way, right? But you never saw that with Ray.
She was really, really disappointed in Ray's reaction to her pregnancy. She said that he's a want-to-be bad guy. She said, I don't understand why. I thought maybe he would be happy. That she told him, I'm gonna have my baby. I'm going to have my baby. And if you're going to be there with me and my baby, then fine. If not, I have enough support.
911, Baker, you need police, fire, or medic? Police, I've been shot. I'm 8 months pregnant. Okay, ma'am, you're 8 months pregnant. You've been shot. You're at Wessex Square. Community. Okay, ma'am, I'm going to connect you to medic. Continue to talk to them because, ma'am, we have to help you. We have to find out where you are.
Where's your husband at?
I don't have one.
Or your boyfriend, the one you said that was with you? Where's he at?
He's in the car in front of me, and he slowed down, and somebody pulled up and ended this.
And then where'd he go?
He just left.
Okay. All right, what's his name?
RaeCarruth. He went to the Panthers.
Okay, what's his name?
RaeCarruth.
RaeCarruth.
The wonderful first date turned into a horrific plot for murder.
RaeCarruth had called me and he asked me if I had a hoop deal, a car that's not flashy, that doesn't stand out, that he could get that night. And I told him that I had a Maxima, and he told me to come over his house. And he asked me, do I know where he can get a gun at? I was like, why you want a gun? And he was like, he was wanting to get Sharika because she was pregnant, and he didn't want to pay no another $5,000 or some odd dollars a month in child support.
Yo, why y'all keep leaving, coming? This story right here is a good one, RaeCarruth, yo. He used to play for the Carolina Panthers, yo. He done did his little time and shit. He just got released, a year or two ago. You get what I'm saying? I think he did 18 years of his sentence. The guy that had, he hired to do the killing, he actually still locked up in North Carolina prison.
And people on the team was saying that he can't be having no baby by no stripper, stuff like that. He said that he had a friend that was gonna do it, and he was talking about William.
He called me, and I met him. So he said, how much would it take to beat up a girl and make her abort her baby? I said, I don't know, beat up no girl, I killed it.
I told him that I didn't want to do it. I was like, I don't want to, I won't have no part. And I said, because I mean, anything can happen. I could get killed, anything. And he was like, something still can happen to you regardless because you know about it.
So he had a code for, I don't want the dog to get out, I need the fence. And that was the code, he don't want the baby to get out, he needs Sharika killed.
What I want, he said, I want my man to ride with you. We was talking about William. He said, ride with you. He said, when we leave the movies, he said, I'm gonna call you and I want y'all to follow me down this road right here. That he was gonna stop. And he wanted the guy that was riding with us to shoot the girl that he had pregnant. And I was just so scared I didn't say nothing else. I didn't think she was dead that night. Because I had to look back, I seen like her brake lights like blink on. So I didn't think she was dead then.
I just remember dropping to my knees and just wailing. Just, God, just please don't let my baby die. But when I got there, they met me and told me that Sharika was already in surgery to have the baby by cesarean section. I immediately decided, oh my God, I gotta call Ray because I bet he doesn't know what's happened. You know, somehow she got shot going home or whatever. And I'm like, I gotta call him. So I had two numbers. I had a cell phone number and a beeper number for him. And so I just continually just kept calling both, no answer. During that time before he came, I remember, you know, they came out and told me that they had to revive Chancellor and that he had severe damage to his brain because of the lack of oxygen and blood. And so, you know, you're hearing all this from the doctors and still no Ray. And finally, he comes in with an entourage. Ray comes in with the guy that did go to the movies with him. It was his friend Hannibal. And he actually came with another woman. I went over like a mad woman. I let him know that I know you knew what happened to her. You know what happened to her. And you did it. You did it. He finally said he wanted to go see his son. So we got down to the NICU and they let us in, and Chancellor is hooked up to all these tubes and in the incubator and everything. The nurse was telling us, you know, we couldn't take him out, but we could stick our finger in to touch him or whatever. So I do remember asking him if he wanted to touch him, and he said no. He just wanted to get a picture of him, and he said, because this might be the last time I get to see him. I had so much peace about making the decision to take Sharika off of life support because she was existing. She was not living. When she died, she looked like she did when she was born. And it was such a surreal moment for me.
He got a message on his answering machine from his attorney who said that Sharika Adams had passed away. About 10 o'clock that night, he decided, I'm going to contact an old friend, Wendy Cole, and he said he begged her to take him to California.
My reaction to Ray fleeing to Tennessee with yet another girlfriend was just another very big display of his cowardice.
I received a call from the FBI in Charlotte and telling me that they have an arrest warrant for RaeCarruth. And they had developed information that he was in a motel in Wildersville, Tennessee. So we went into the hotel, spoke to the manager, and she told us, yes, there was a young lady, Wendy Cole, staying in that room. And a short time later, Miss Cole walked down. I asked her if RaeCarruth was with her. She said no. I said, where's he at? She said, well, I'm not sure, but he's around here. And I sat down on the side of the bed and I said, you know where he is, don't you? She just stared, and then I said, where is he, Wendy? And she looked at the keys. And I didn't pick up on it the first time. I said, where is he, Wendy? And she looked at the keys again. He's in the trunk, isn't he? I said, Ray? He said, yeah. This is Mark Post. I'm with the FBI, and I have agents surrounded the car. We're going to pop the trunk. As soon as we pop the trunk, just enough for your hands to come out. That's the first thing I want to see is those hands come out. And his hands came right out.
Yes, I had concerns, but on the other hand, we had Sharika Adams, and she was the strongest witness for herself to her own murder.
911, Baker, any police fire automatic? Police, I've been shot. I'm 8 months pregnant. Okay, ma'am, you're 8 months pregnant. You've been shot. You're at Wessex Square.
That was probably the largest piece of evidence in the entire trial, and they pulled it out on day one, minute one.
It just showed the courage and the strength of this young woman and her character, that she was fighting to hold on to life long enough to tell somebody what had happened and who had done it, and to try to save her baby.
Yeah, I don't have any doubt that that was the most important evidence. And I have no doubt that whatever Sharika said was her honest impression at the time.
Ma'am, can you give me any information about what kind of car it was?
No.
Where's your husband at?
I don't have one.
Or your boyfriend, the one you said that was with you? Where's he
was
at?
in the car in front of me, and he slowed down, and somebody pulled up beside me and did this.
And then where'd he go?
He just left.
Okay. All right, what's his name?
RaeCarruth. He played for the Panthers.
Okay, what's his name?
RaeCarruth.
RaeCarruth.
89.
The part that she said, I think she said number 89 or number 88 or whatever number he was. I'm having his baby. He stopped in front of me and they started shooting. I don't remember all the exact words, but something to that effect. And I was kind of thinking to myself, would I have the wherewithal to come up with that stuff if I'd been just been shot? How you couldn't help but believe her seemed almost impossible to me.
You know, I have never believed that he hired Van Brett Watkins or Michael Kennedy to harm Sharika in any way. And the evidence at the trial was that neither of them got paid anything or received anything for doing this. And indeed, there was no, quote, planning for this until the very day that it all happened. And that's just not how a murder for hire takes place. I mean, they even had to go and get a gun that day. So the whole thing just didn't make sense to me.
My impression of David was that he came up with a alternate set of possibilities that were never backed up by anything in the testimony that I ever heard.
As we got more into the trial and as we got into deliberations, we kept going back to that 911 call. And we just, couldn't wrap our hands around why would she say some of the things she said at this moment if they weren't true. That was probably 90% of why I voted the way I voted.
Did you say, I hope the bitch dies? Did you say that?
That's the bitch I was talking about.
Oh.
Or at 2 in the morning.